tell y'all? You tuning into the best morning show on the globe. It's Bradham and Emery in the morning, y'all. LeBron or Jordan, either one when I'm performing. Crossover, buzzer beater and I'm scoring. Bradham and Emery in the morning. Every play they on it. Every day I'm balling. Who's the coach? Who's the GOAT? Like Brady and Belichick, best show on the globe. And they embellish it. Y'all paying Zippy, I'm Ken Griffey or maybe Mahomes. I stay in the zone, whether man to man or play in the zone. They can't stop me. Mayweather boxing, Curry with the shot, man. We just the best to be. Can we have our SB, please? This was meant to be. Every morning with Bradham and Emery.
Yes, sir. You know the vibes. Brad and Emery. Marques, Brad, Justin, Emery.
Yo.
Phillies.
Real quick. I'm so glad you killed that intro to the point that you threw me off. Like, I got to give you props. It was a great intro. I
need a week, but I'm ready. I'm here now.
You got it, and it was to the point that you even threw me off. So, good job.
Phillies yesterday. They brought it down the wire. They really did. And
what Dombrowski does.
I'm sure people were out there with the butt cheeks were getting a little tight and a little clenched. But if you look at the totality of what happened, you got to be pretty happy how this turned out. You had a holes you needed were filled. Brandon Marsh deal, I think I like it a little more than most. People have kind of been like a little critical of it. The way I look at it, yes, he's hitting 226 in 93 games, correct.
I also have a question about him for you as well after this.
Okay. He's a significant upgrade defensively. And for the rest of this season, at least, you got Schwarber and Castellanos in the outfield. This guy's going to cover way more ground. And he's under control for 5 years. And listen, there's a chance he can hit. Like, it doesn't mean like just because he's a young kid. He was the highest prospect in their system.
He just Ks a lot. That's his problem. He just strikes out a lot. He's not a bad hitter.
Yeah.
He just strikes out a lot. But, young players strike out a lot. Like, that's what happens. Get him in here. Get him around the Real Mutos, the Schwarbers, the Harpers.
Kevin Long.
Maybe not Castellanos. Like, I should take that back. Maybe not get him around him yet. But cut down on those Ks.
Yeah.
You may have your solution.
And again, I like the fact he's under control for 5 years. I don't think you gave up a lot to get him. And that was a big hole. The other big hole, pitching. So now with the Eflin situation, he's a dub at this point. Like, you can't count on him. You can't rely on him. You hope maybe he gives you some middle relief at some point. But that knee, this is a chronic issue, it seems. And like, he just can't figure this out.
He's a big man.
Yes.
For a baseball player, he's a big man.
No, 1,000%. You can't count on him. Kyle Gibson scares the bejesus out of me because you just don't know. He can go out there and give you 7 strong on 3-hit ball with 1 run, or he can implode in the second inning and give up 13 runs. You just don't know what you're getting from him. So I don't like him as a third starter in a playoff position. Ranger Suarez, I'm on the fence. For this year, I want that security for this year. And you got that security in Syndergaard. Is Syndergaard Thor from a couple years ago with the Mets throwing 103 miles an hour? No. But he's still a legitimate starter. He's a veteran. He 15 starts, 3.83 earned run average. Not bad.
You can't take too much from that because the Angels are a terrible team.
Correct.
So it's hard to knock him with his win-loss record because, the Angels have Ohtani and Trout, and they can't even sniff the playoffs.
They can't figure it out. The guy had so much velocity on his fastball. He lost a couple miles, but he's still throwing 96, 95, 96. And his off-speed stuff has improved dramatically. Like, so I love it. I think that was a great pickup. They were interested in getting Carlos Rendon. That didn't work out. But I'm okay with Syndergaard. So now you're looking at, if I'm looking at my playoff rotation, we got Wheeler, Nola, Syndergaard. I'm cool with that. I think that's great. And then the bonus. So listen, funny story. A couple weeks ago, last time we actually had Devin Caney on, do you remember the guy I couldn't think of? He got hurt. I kept saying he got hurt. He was here. They signed him a big deal. It was David Robertson.
Oh, yeah. Well, who did I say? Alfonseca?
Yeah. You said that. Yeah. It was David Robertson. who we actually just saw here with the Cubs, pitched very well when he's with the Cubs. He's having a great year, lively stuff. He's going to, again, strengthen a bullpen that's already, knock on wood, pretty good right now. With the emergence of my guy Connor Brogdon, Alvarado, Sir Anthony, Knable settled down, Beninelli, you're okay.
And we DFA'd Familia.
Yes, and I was going to get to that. So Familia's out, Odubel's out, which is important, and so you give up Mickey Moniak, who seems like which is never going to work out here. Logan O'Hoppe.
That was a bad draft pick.
Right, Logan O'Hoppe's the guy people are most upset about, but like listen, first of all, there's other catchers in the system. Number one, number two, the idea we don't know about the idea of Real Muto actually moving to first base. He's going to be a catcher here for at least 3 years, right? He's going to be a catcher here for at least another 3 years.
Real Muto cannot play first base.
And that's how I feel too. So so you're good at catcher. O'Hoppe was not going to force his way up here past Real Muto.
You're looking at a Tommy Howard situation.
Correct. But the thing is, it's not going to be the situation where eventually you're going to be like, okay, we're going to get rid of Tommy for Howard. Like Howard was undeniable, where Logan O'Hoppe has not been undeniable.
No, he would have aged out to have to be traded. It's just you're going to trade him for this deal or a different deal in the future.
He's getting a little bit in AA, but he's not doing enough where you're like, okay, he has to come up here now. So again, if you're telling me
bring him up here now, what's he going to do? DH?
Exactly.
You already got a logjam in DH.
Right. So so we got those three pieces, and you really just gave up Moniak and O'Hoppe. This is great. And this is like at some point we got to get to 07. We got to get to 07 at some point. And like if you go back to that 07 team, there wasn't a lot of huge moves made around that time, just enough to get you into the picture of the playoffs. The Phillies need to get into the playoffs. You got to get we've been through 03, 04, 05, 06. We got to get to 07.
Mm-hmm.
And like I think that this does that. I think they have enough now with Gene Segura coming back tomorrow. Bryce Harper, hopefully, at the end of the month.
Pins are out of the thumb.
So I feel good. Like, I feel like this is their best shot yet to get in the playoffs.
I would be extremely disappointed if they do not make the playoffs at this point in time.
Yeah.
To the point that they're back on they're back on the list of do not watch if they do not make it. You know what the moves actually did, Marcus? I texted Sarah earlier and said, we're going to the Phillies game this week.
Down in the bank?
We're going down.
Love it.
Down.
It's a great time because like
now, well, a couple things. So I actually think that I've been saying for years Noah Syndergaard needs to be a Philly because the Mets for some reason just didn't like him. I don't know why, but they just never. I mean, they had who was the Dark Knight guy there? Harvey something.
Matt Harvey. You had Harvey,
DeGrom,
Syndergaard, and Wheeler.
Yeah,
Wheeler.
But for some reason, they just didn't like Syndergaard. But he was always hurt.
Yeah. Well, he was. I mean, like his arm was silly.
Yes,
like, the guy was throwing like 103.
Yeah,
like, that's not.
No, like he lost 5 miles an hour, and he's still one of the hardest throwers in the league.
Right. He's throwing. He's probably 95 consistently, but when he's excited and he's gassed, he could probably get you 97, 98. Like he's gonna be throwing 97 in the playoffs.
Yeah. Well, my thing is that I believe that you're looking at a situation where him and Ranger are going to be competing for the 3, I believe.
Yeah.
And they're going to push each other. I mean, I'll take either one of them as my 4.
Yes.
So if they're going to duke it out and only one of them is going to get the 3, hey.
Well, Ranger now for the rest of the season will be the 4, which strengthens his rotation so much as Ranger is your 4. And it also gets
I think that they're gonna fight for that 3rd spot. I think
I agree with you, but I think that's for the playoffs. But the rest of the regular season, Ranger's your 4. And then
Syndergaard's actually pitching tomorrow.
Say it again?
Syndergaard's actually pitching tomorrow.
He's in tomorrow?
He's actually the starter tomorrow, yeah.
Thor on the mound. So he's on his spot tomorrow. Love it.
Yeah.
So then you Billy Falter, I don't want to kill him. He did what he had to do. He was okay. but he can't be a guy
that ain't it.
Yeah. So
I have never seen, and I mean, maybe I could just be a prisoner of recency bias, so I want you to tell me if you can recall, when has there been a Philadelphia team at a trade deadline more self-aware and check off more boxes than this team did this year?
I mean, I don't want to make
Starting pitcher help, check.
Yeah.
Bullpen pitching help, check. Position player help, check. And then on top of that, moving off the dead weight, the Moniac, the Odubel Herrera, the Familia. Then, I mean, it wasn't a trade deadline move, but we're at day 60. 2 months ago, managerial turnover.
Right.
Dombrowski seems extremely self-aware this season, and it's rare.
It reminds you a lot when Pat Gillett got in here and started with the Phillies back in the late 2000s, and all the things that those little tweak things that you had to do to get him into the right place that he did. So yeah, I mean, I'm so excited because
I'm saying at a trade, like they checked off every box at the trade deadline.
Yeah.
Well, I can't remember a team with it's one thing if you only need one guy. They went out and checked off all 3 boxes.
Yeah, David Robertson is a bonus box because I mean we knew we needed a center fielder, we knew we needed a starting pitcher. I didn't expect him to go out and get a piece like that for the bullpen. I mean, that's a big deal.
I would have. I'm not gonna I'm not gonna turn my nose up at what the moves they made, but I still would have liked a way to get either Castellanos or Schwarber off the field. Like off of being in the field.
I understand that.
But I'm not. That's really just me nitpicking.
I think we both know Castellanos and Schwarber playing this much in the field.
It's just a Harper injury. It's just because of Harper's injury.
It can't be a permanent solution. So,
and it won't.
It hasn't killed you. So, the rest of the year, obviously, this is what's going to be. But next year, you got Harper, playing the field at some point, and then you're going to probably get somebody else in there to help out, and give those guys a day.
What it was is Schwarber and Castellanos were supposed to be rotating in left.
Yeah.
And now they're both everyday fielders.
Yeah.
Now, I wanted to ask you, did you think it was weird that they traded for 2 guys from the same team in different deals?
Well, I think they did that because they really wanted they were trying to get Rendon. So they did the first trade for Marsh, and they were kind of waiting to see if that would happen. And then apparently in the last because originally the Angels were asking for way too much for Syndergaard. So the Phillies kind of were on the outskirts, kind of listening. And in the last 15 minutes, they called the Phillies about Syndergaard. That's how he ended up here, even though his name was floating around and linked
all day long.
Yeah, for about a couple days, and all day long, people were saying that's a possibility. But I'm glad, I think it was they were talking also about Madison Bumgarner, where I didn't want. I think Madison Bumgarner, is a shot horse at this point.
And the thing is, he is the ace pitcher on the all Ben Simmons team, if you know what I'm talking about. Total DH.
Yeah.
I don't want that. We already had he's Papelbon as a starting pitcher.
And he's not worth the trouble anymore.
No.
He used to be.
And he makes $10 million a year.
His numbers in the postseason are legendary.
I mean, San Francisco, Bumgarner.
Yeah, he was absurd. He's not that guy anymore.
Multiple rings on the mantle.
Right. Doesn't get those strikeouts anymore. I didn't want any parts of that. I take Syndergaard over him every day and twice on Sunday. So, this is good news. Last time I checked, Phillies were up 3-1 on the Braves. Castellanos just hit his first home run in 3 years. So that's a good sign. Hopefully, I mean, listen, that's the thing about baseball, man. Look at Alec Boehm.
Wheeler was dealing today.
Wheeler was doing Wheeler things. Look, the thing about baseball you love is a guy like Alec Boehm. Alec Boehm, people were kind of on the fence with him. He comes out and hits 400 for the month of July. It's hovering around 300 right now. Castellanos could do the same thing. Like we're at the beginning of August. Like if he heats up now to the end of the season, we're all good. He starts to be a double machine, gap to gap, gets his power back. We're all good. And I'm still holding out hope that can happen. He had actually a really good series in Pittsburgh. And now he hit his first home run in forever. I think it's the beginning of June. So you're just hoping that maybe whatever it is he's coming out of. I will say about him that something I think is being kind of swept under the carpet. He did not want to leave Cincinnati. He did not want to leave Cincinnati at all. Cincinnati made it where he could not come back. And he spoke about that. And I know a lot of people want to hear this, but sometimes it's tough to adjust to those new cities, those new surroundings, those new things. We saw the Freddie Freeman situation out in LA and him coming to Atlanta and firing his agent and all that stuff. I don't think it got that bad because Cincinnati basically said, listen, go explore. But he loves Cincinnati. And he's really close with Joey Votto, Jonathan India. I think they had a good relationship too. So I think it might be an adjustment period thing going on.
I don't care. You're getting $100 million.
I mean, listen, I can't argue with that argument.
If you didn't want to leave, don't sign the deal then. You know what I'm like?
No, I don't want to say that he didn't want to be here.
No, but my point is that get over it. You got $100 million. You got $100 million deal. Get over it.
Hopefully he is, and hopefully this is the beginning of something. Hopefully the Phillies close out. They'll split with Atlanta and they move on. Who they got now? I don't even know who they got next. Do you know who they got?
Nationals.
Oh, a little home cooking.
4-game series.
4 with the Nats. Phillies generally beat up on the Nationals, so hopefully we get 3.
Oh well, I mean they just traded Soto yesterday, so.
Yeah, imagine having Anthony Rendon, Juan Soto, Bryce Harper, and Josh Bell, and they're all gone.
Max Scherzer.
Oh, and Max Scherzer, yeah, and they're all gone within 2 years.
4 years.
3, yeah. Imagine that though.
I mean,
this team won the World Series 2019.
I know,
and now they're You got Juan Soto who is going to be good for a very long period of time saying, I don't want your $400 million.
500.
I don't want it.
The thing is that there's never been a player that young that has the accolades he has.
Yeah. And he's having a down year this year.
Well, I mean, the Nationals sucked. He didn't have any help.
Say again?
The Nationals sucked. He didn't have any help.
Yeah, but he's not hitting. I mean, he's last year he was really good, and the Nationals still sucked. He's just having a down year.
Yeah, but I mean, they're even bad last year
with Tatis Jr. and Machado.
Yeah,
it's a lot to unpack out there.
Yeah, I mean, Tatis has to get back.
Yeah,
he needs to get on the field. Let's worry about getting him on the field first.
Correct. Right. And they just signed Musgrave.
Yeah, all that.
So. I mean, the Padres are looking good out there. They got the nice stadium out there.
Have you ever been to Petco?
I have not been to Petco.
Man, first off, don't drive there. There's 4 parking spots for the whole stadium.
That's not good.
No, don't drive. But it's how you have those very picturesque stadiums.
Mm-hmm.
Put it on the list.
Okay. Yeah, I mean San Diego is a beautiful city, so I can, and I've heard things like the Petco's nice and yeah. So we'll see.
I'm just assuming it's still called Petco. I don't know.
It's probably called something.com or I don't know, but I know what you're talking about. Obviously.
Yeah.
Braves right now leading the wild card. Padres right behind them, and your Phils in third right now. The Braves and the Mets will be duking it out for the division for the rest of the year.
Do you have the numbers offhand? Are the Padres close to the Dodgers or no? Are they within?
They were as of yesterday. They were 12 back.
Oh, okay. Never mind.
They were 12 back as of.
I didn't know if it was possible.
You know what though? I mean, it's still early August. You're
the
asking
Dodgers are a great team.
Dodgers to implode.
Yeah, the Dodgers are a great team. That's not going to happen.
Right. So yeah, we'll see how it shakes out. But a lot of reasons to be excited if you're a Phillies fan. Moving on. To the NBA.
Well, I was going to say, you want to do NBA? You want to do NFL? Which one we want to go to first?
I want to go to the NBA because it's gonna be a shorter conversation.
Okay.
Well, they're both. I mean, anyway, Sixers in trouble, along with the Knicks, which I was actually. So it came out about the Sixers with tampering first, and the first thing I said was, well, the Knicks have to be included. And also, like, they literally hired Jalen Brunson's dad a week before Jalen Brunson goes to the Knicks, and then a couple of days later came out the Knicks are involved too. Which, if you ask me, I think the Knicks have a much more clear case of tampering, even though, like, my thing is this: what is tampering? Like, what is it? Because the rules are just they're not clear, because we have in some sports, we have legal tampering periods, and we also have to have this thing where we have to assume that these guys don't have relationships with their other agents, other players from their teams, and they're not talking about this stuff all the time, free flow. So,
well, real quick on that,
yeah,
I was told yesterday that players, no matter what they do, cannot be held accountable for tampering. So players themselves, no matter what.
So it's when the agent gets involved.
No, even if the player does it themselves, the player doesn't get in trouble. Everything that happens, the team takes responsibility for.
Yeah, that's the Bulls and the Heat, I think, got it last season.
Now, I don't, I can only take their word for it. They would know much better than me. They're in that circle, in the know there. So I just got to take their word for it. But I was told that no matter what, the player can't be held, can't get in trouble for the tampering. That's not something that a player can get busted for, even if the player is guilty and in the wrong. It's the team that gets punished.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, makes sense.
Hence the Stephen Ross thing that we'll get into in a little bit, I'm sure.
Yeah, so it's just, to me, it's just, so basically the situation is Harden doesn't re-sign right away. He's allowing the Sixers to sign who they want to sign. And it just so happens it's two guys he played with a couple years ago. It just so happens that it's the general manager they all played under. Yeah, so these guys all have relationships, so it's very easy for a trail of these guys were talking. And also, it's also suspicious that PJ Tucker is coming from a really good team that went to the Eastern Conference Finals. They beat the team he's going to now, and he didn't even talk to them really about resigning. It was always Sixers. It was never, hey, best offer. It was like, nope, I don't care what you guys say. I'm going here. All right. But I think this is just logical at the end of the day, that these guys all have relationships and they all want to play together. I don't know why we're making more out of this than we really need to. I think that's all it is. And, again, there's all sorts of little caveats to this. Like, people are concerned that maybe Michael Rubin and James Harden worked out some side deal, but Michael Rubin's not part of the Sixers anymore. And that's something too people probably look into, that, why did Michael Rubin decide when he did to leave the Sixers? Did that have anything to do with what was going on behind the scenes?
No, I think it has to do with no. Why did he leave? I know why he left.
It was about the Fanatic. It was
like his business. Like, he needed to dilute.
But, like, if you want to play Dick Tracy or Sherlock Holmes, you could create a scenario where you're like, well, the timing looks a little funny of him deciding to step away because all of this stuff is going on.
Adam Silver in the face right now.
I know it's just it's pointless. Now,
like, this is the same dude that put Burnergate man in the front office here.
Right. Now, New York,
that is
a different story.
Yes,
that's very, very, very different.
That is clear cut, like that.
Not even close, but like,
that happened.
So just the idea of you hiring like Rick Brunson to the front office to position, and you sign his son a week later, like, yeah, you're creating that dynamic where it's no way in the world we can't say. Now, that to me feels tampering. Like, this is tampering. Like, we hired your father. So now, obviously, of course, I want to co-play with Pops. Like,
now this isn't like Doc Rivers trading Austin Rivers away multiple times, right?
no, no. And Doc also said, "Hey, Austin, I see Phillies on your list of teams. Don't come here. Like, we don't want you here.
Yeah.
Like, we're good.
That's crazy.
Instead,
that blows my mind every time I see that.
it's probably awkward. That was probably awkward around the Thanksgiving table.
Didn't the one year he get traded like around Christmas?
Yeah. Yep. Hey, Dad, remember that time you didn't want me to sign with your team, but you traded for my son, my brother-in-law? Good times. Good times.
I forgot about that.
Good times. But yeah, so that to me the New York situation to me is clear cut tampering. The Sixers a lot of gray areas. You have to do to come to the conclusion the Sixers are tampering.
A lot of gray areas.
You got to do the work yourself. You got to put the pieces together. Because what are they going to what is going to be the smoking gun in the Sixers case? What do they have to actually say, this is why, this is what happened? There's nothing there.
Could be a whole lot of circumstantial evidence.
Right. So Exhibit A, James and PJ are at a white party in the Hamptons with Joe.
Yeah.
Exhibit B, James Harden doesn't sign until late July. Exhibit C, you guys were all together in Houston 2018.
Now,
that's it.
You mentioned the white party.
Yeah.
Okay. I got a top 5 that we should put together, but I'm going to need your help putting this list together. Okay. Because after seeing the pictures of that, Michael Rubin's white party has to make the list.
Okay. What's the list?
Well, we got, Diddy's infamous VMA parties. Got to be up there.
Yeah.
The Michael Rubin white party, I'd say.
Celebrity bashes.
Yeah, like the Jay-Z 40-40 Super Bowl party.
Yeah.
That's got to be up there. Now, I don't know if, obviously, he doesn't still do that anymore, but when he was, that was definitely the thing.
That's up there.
Iverson and TGI Fridays.
Yeah, that's a party in itself.
Yeah. But the Michael Rubin white party, that better be here to stay, is my point.
Lou Williams at Magic City.
Yes, Lou Williams at Magic City.
But Rubin white party was like a who's who of people.
Yeah. Lil Wayne and Drake at King of Diamonds.
Yeah. We also can add Drake's now house parties to the list at his own personal residence.
Yes.
50 Cent's parties from back in the day at his residence.
Yes.
Former place.
Money Mayweather.
Money May with Ray J playing the piano at his parties.
Yeah.
We got a lot to pick from.
We got a lot. We have a lot. I fully think that we should open up going back. So we have to go to the infamous Charles Barkley New Year's Eve parties in Phoenix with Mike Tyson.
Yeah. Chuck.
In the late 90s.
Jordan used to throw some pretty wild, he had some stuff, some summer stuff too.
Yeah, but but the thing is he would just throw parties. Like I'm talking about the Charles Barkley New Year's Eve party. That was what it was. Like it was just like, hey, Jumpman's throwing a party next month. We're going.
Right, we're in.
Like that's
Drake's birthday parties.
What was that?
Drake's birthday parties.
Drake, yes.
Birthday Drake is different.
Mm-hmm. But it's a big list we'll have to shift through. But that's gonna be we're gonna have to put the white party on there because
that the Rubin.
I need
literally I think most people were unpacking the Rubin white party for days. Like it was like the Twitter scrolls and stuff. That party was being unpacked for like 5 days.
Mm-hmm.
Like you were like, oh, I didn't know they were there. It was like you were just kept doing this for 5 days of all the people that were there. You had Maxey was there, Harden was there, Tucker was there, Jay-Z was there, Drake was there. I think the Kendall Jenner was there, Devin Booker was there. It was wild. It was just a who's who.
Meek performed.
Yeah. That's when you saw the clip of them all on. That's literally where I think Adam Silver was like, I hate this. And that's when you saw
Donovan Mitchell was there.
Him
and Maxey rolled in together.
Yeah, well, Reggie Bullock was there too, and there was controversy with him because he tweeted out something about the Sixers, and everyone was like, "Was he going to the Sixers?" And he was like, "I'm hanging with my boys." It was a picture of him with all the Sixers, and then with all those rumors about him going to the Sixers.
Let's see who else was there. I didn't see any pictures, but I got to make the assumption Robert Kraft was there.
Bob Kraft was there, of course. Bob.
I didn't see any pictures of him, but I'm making the assumption he was there.
Bob Kraft was definitely there. If it was a Reuben party,
he was there.
Bob Kraft was in attendance. Yeah, it was wild.
Yo, we got to be invited next year.
I want to go. Let me in.
I'm not bringing my phone.
No. That's a no.
I don't want any evidence from that night.
No. I don't want any of those pictures.
No.
I don't like to tell myself.
No.
I don't stitch myself. I go, I party, I leave. So that's how I handle things. But yeah, I mean, it's a lot to do about nothing. I think the Sixers investigation, I think the Sixers have a good chance of beating it.
Yes.
The Sixers have no shot.
No.
Absolutely no shot of beating this case at all. This is an open shut case. Like, that's why I was so mad.
Like whoever the owner is of the Dolan, right? That's his name.
Dolan. Yeah, James Dolan.
Yeah, he shouldn't even bother showing up to the
right.
He's guilty.
Right. Just pay what you gotta pay, surrender your draft pick, and move it on, sir.
And move on. You got the guy you wanted.
Right.
Because at the end of it, you still get the prize. You still get the player.
Yes. Yeah, right. So NFL, we are underway. Training camps are underway everywhere. Especially in Philly, we're getting rolling. And the big controversy right now is the Nick Sirianni no tackling.
Oh, hold on. Before we get into the Eagles camp, let's just bullet point real quick around the whole league first.
Okay.
A lot has unraveled.
All right, why don't you unpack that for us?
All right. Kyler Murray contract.
Yeah.
If I'm giving you $230 million, I shouldn't have to write in a homework clause.
Right. Yeah. The idea that, and it's just 4 hours. Like, how little are you studying? Where that's the requirement.
Did you see
4 hours?
That's so nothing. I think it was The Athletic, or it was one of those publications put out a thing last year. You should see how badly the Cardinals and his stats fall off following the release of Call of Duty last year. Like it is more than a coincidence. It has to be that he was playing too much.
COD.
Like that has to be it.
Yeah, that was a wild.
His quarterback rating dropped like 23 points on average.
I would love to take his natural skills, his arm, his legs, transplant that into Jalen Hurts. With his work ethic, we'd have a superhuman.
We might have a starting quarterback.
Yeah, right.
That's what we might have.
Yeah. So yeah, you have that situation, the contract, and it being leaked. There's wild clauses all throughout. Like, I remember Michael Jordan had a for the love of the game clause in his contract because a lot of players are prohibited to play, pick up, and stuff like that. And he was like, "Listen, I like to play basketball, so I'm gonna play basketball whenever I want, wherever I want."
Well, we've talked about it on the show before. The Brian Westbrook deal.
Mm-hmm.
He wasn't allowed to ride motorcycles, and he was
a rule for everybody, really. Athletic.
Yeah. But another thing is that Westbrook's huge on like obviously he's a horse ranch and everything.
Yeah.
He wasn't allowed to ride horses during the season. Written into the contract. He could only ride during the off season.
Yeah, I'm sure if we do some digging, like maybe we'll do the next show.
We can find
amendments and contracts.
I mean, how about the fat clauses that are in deals for linemen? All you gotta do is be underweight. Like, be under 385 pounds.
Yes.
And you don't get fined.
Right.
Another thing, Trey Lance named the starter.
Yeah, officially.
Mistake.
I don't like it.
Nope. I'm not a Niner fan, but I don't like it.
I don't think he's done anything to earn the starting job. I think this will be a disaster. I think they're really going to miss Jimmy Garoppolo when they do officially trade him wherever he's going. I think it's a mistake to let go of him. I don't think Trey Lance is better. I'm not a believer that his upside is worth giving him his opportunity now. I think it's going to frustrate a lot of people on that offense. And I think this will be an implosion by the middle of the season.
Agreed. I just think
This is this is just not as a head coach, and maybe it's coming from John Lynch, whatever. But as a head coach, I'm not tying my wagon to Trey Lance.
no,
My answer is no.
not at all.
My answer is that's gonna be a no for me, dog.
This has mistake written all over it.
Yeah, I don't like it. And this is a team you're talking about a team that won the NFC Championship game last year.
Yeah,
and didn't really lose
a
anything.
Super Bowl a couple years ago, and then if it wasn't for Patrick Mahomes becoming Superman and for one quarter,
yep,
they have jewelry.
Yep. Yeah, no, I completely agree. And
they were beating the Chiefs in that Super Bowl.
Right. And they work things out with Deebo Samuel. He resigns. Yeah, it's just this is not it for me. Yep. It's a terrible idea.
DK Metcalf gets paid.
Yeah, I mean he deserves it.
The thing is, it was only a 3-year deal, though,
which I think is smart for him, because I don't know why you want to be in Seattle longer than 3 years, because that's not going anywhere. Like, what are
the thing? Remember, he was also a second-round draft pick, so he doesn't have that 5th-year option.
Right. And what really is the upside over there? Like, you have a coach that how many more years do you have left? You don't really have a quarterback.
You don't have a quarterback.
Like, yeah. I mean, the defense is a shell of itself. It's not great over there right now. So, listen, get your money, bro. But 3 years is probably the best bet, because now you can get your behind out of there,
and go somewhere else.
Yeah.
Big injury down out of Buccaneers camp. Starting center probably out for the year.
Yeah. Not and with
the Bucs are now will have 3 new linemen on the offense this year.
Not good. Brady's chemistry with his linemen may be the most important chemistry in the entire league. Like, obviously a quarterback has to have good chemistry with his linemen, but with Tom Brady, it's a different level of commitment. His guy is a statue back there, and the communication between that line and him is very, very important, and that's why they were so good a couple years ago, because they had the best offensive line in football 2 years ago. That's why they won a Super Bowl. Not good at all.
And last one, we now know how long the Browns will be without Deshaun Watson.
Yeah, a lot of people are really upset about the sentence. As much as a creep I think he is, and I think he definitely did this stuff, what really was the NFL going to do? Because there was no criminal charges. 20 of the cases were dropped. So I don't know what else really they could have, how much longer they could have really suspended him. I think a lot of people were hoping for a year, but I believe he deserved a year. But this is so weird, because we all can kind of wink and be like, man, what were you doing in the rooms? You were doing something weird in those rooms. But at the same time, there's no criminal charges, and I don't like saying there's only 4 cases. I think I don't want to feel like I'm making light of this. That's bad to have 4 cases, but it's a lot worse to have 24 cases. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But he's a creep. But at the end of the day, I always say, listen, if you're going to invest in these people that you watch on television to be decent human beings, just don't watch television, because most of these people are scumbags. That's just the rule of the game. And you've got to learn how to kind of detach yourself from this stuff and not look at them as people in the sense of holding them to this moral high ground, because most of the time they're going to let you down. LeBron James doesn't grow on trees. And most people in circles that run like that are much more like Deshaun Watson than they are LeBron James. And it is what it is. I don't like it. I don't like the fact that he did this stuff. I don't like the fact that this stuff happens, but it's going to continue to happen. So listen, if you're going to take a stand and say, I'm upset with him, keep that same energy when someone does this on your own team.
Yeah, worst case scenario, Deshaun Watson's a creep.
Yes.
Worst case scenario.
Yeah.
Or I should say, at least At the bare minimum, he's a creep.
Yeah.
I figured he would have gotten suspended for the year, appealed it, and gotten 8 games. That's what I thought was going to happen. Both sides apparently are not going to appeal the 6 games. So looks like week 7 he's coming back. Did you look at the Browns schedule?
No, but real quick, one more thing I want to say about that. The most damning thing for me for the whole thing was the New York Times article with the girl that did not press charges. That to me was the one I was like, oh yeah, you did this stuff. Because this girl didn't even come after you for anything. And she's saying, while you were in the act of doing these heinous things you were trying to get these girls to do, she said to you, bro, what are you doing? I'm paraphrasing. She's saying, what are you doing? You are about to lose everything. This was in the New York Times article. And this is a person that did not press charges or anything. That's for me was like, yeah, he definitely did this stuff.
I mean, I've said it before and I'll say it again. There's a lot of good people in sports, but there's a lot of not good people.
Yeah.
And you need to learn to separate the person and the athlete.
Correct.
Because you'd be surprised at a lot of things that these people do.
1,000%. So the Browns schedule.
Yeah, that they could still. I wouldn't be surprised if they're 5-1 when he comes back.
Well, yeah, you and Jacoby
they play slop. Other than the Chargers,
yeah,
they play slop during those first 6 games.
And Jacoby Brissett, he's not a starter, but he's a serviceable backup. Like he's not gonna.
But I'm saying like they play bums. Yeah. Atlanta, Panthers.
Yeah,
like Drek. They play. No. The Chargers. Chargers are a good team. Chargers are my dark horse Super Bowl team. When we make the picks, Chargers are dark horse Super Bowl pick for me.
Okay.
But out of the AFC, I haven't even made a prediction yet, but I like the way the Chargers look this year.
Yeah. Well, listen, they've made a lot of
the thing is that I do not want anything to do with the AFC North. Like if I'm Pittsburgh, I'm worried. I'm real worried because we have Lamar Jackson already won an MVP. Joe Burrow, you got to make the assumption he'll have an MVP. Deshaun Watson, when the last time we saw him on the field, he was a top 5 quarterback. And every report that comes out of training camp is that Kenny Pickett is awful right now.
Yeah, you and I both were not really in on him at all.
But like the Steelers are a cornerstone franchise in this league.
Correct.
I don't know if I would say but a cornerstone franchise.
I don't like the Browns to make much noise this year because I think that when Deshaun Watson does come back, it's going to take a little bit for him to get back to the swing of things. But I think this is kind of
you have 3 monster quarterbacks in that league, or in that division, all under the age of 27.
Yes, agreed.
And then you have the Steelers, who have the tied for the most Super Bowls out of any team in the whole league. And you're.
And I'm pretty sure Mike Tomlin has not had a losing record.
No, he's had 500 seasons.
He's never had a
losing record.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Yeah, it'll be interesting to see what's going on over there. Any other news and notes?
Derwin James still hasn't signed, which he's going to rewrite the market for safeties. So if you're the Eagles and you're going to trade for Jesse Bates and sign him to a new deal, do that before Derwin James signs.
Yes.
Otherwise, you're going to be down a whole lot more. Correct. But, I mean, I love me some Derwin James. Like, he's my favorite player not named Micah Parsons that's not on the Eagles.
You love your Micah Parsons.
I do. Well, my real guy, my top guy, Luke Kuechly, retired on me.
Yeah. Don't forget about Herbert.
Well, I'm talking defensive guys.
You're all defensive guys.
Yeah, I'm talking I was mainly talking. I was strictly talking defensive guys there. No, Herbert's my QB. He's my QB1.
All right, so let's get to the Eagles.
You mean the Eagles flag football that they're having?
Yeah, I wanted to toss that around a little bit because there's been a lot of opinions about this and about what the right answer to this question is. And I'll be. This is a boring answer, but I don't know the right answer to this question because I understand this is the new age of kind of how we're running things, and we're kind of branching away from trying to tackle as much. But listen, I'm old school. Like I'm very used to those Andy Reid.
I've been waiting for like 4 days to ask you this question. Okay. Well, I have to ask you another question leading up to it.
Okay.
So first, did you play football in high school?
Yes, I played my sophomore year.
Yeah, a little bit, not the whole time. So
a top-notch program.
Well, I was going to say, so you played under the legendary
Mike Pettin. Yes.
And when I mean that, I don't mean that lightly. Like a high school football legend.
Correct. I actually had the most terrifying conversation of my life with Mike Pettin.
I believe it.
I told the story on the show.
I believe you. Is that the story when you told him that you weren't going to play anymore?
Yes. Yeah.
You've told that story.
Yeah.
So I would have to imagine that you've been at some grueling practices.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So I wanted to ask you, would he have done and put up with a training camp like this, despite the fact that he was at a high school level?
No. Listen, I'll tell this is a circle of honesty. That his camp broke me. It's when I really realized that I don't love football as much as I thought I loved football. Like, when you're playing in junior high, I played at Leonard.
This is the same Mike Pettin who his son was an NFL coach.
Correct.
Yes.
Now when I played at Lenape, the practices, we did the bellies, up downs. They call them, some people call them bellies, up downs. You ran a lot, but it wasn't anything at all. Like Mike Pettin at CB West, I don't know if they still do this. I'm gonna assume they do. Well, they definitely do it now, but I don't think a lot of other programs were doing this.
He's not still coaching, is he?
What?
He's not still coaching, right?
No, he passed away.
Oh, he did?
Mike Pettin Sr.? Yeah, he passed away.
Well, you know how those high school coaches just coach
he
for
passed away
forever.
at 77. Oh, man, I don't want to say the year because I don't remember, but I know he passed away. But anyway, he literally had training camps.
Oh, yeah. Oh, I believe it.
Training camp? What is that? Like, literally, like, we're in training camp like a month and a half before school. It was like Eagles camp. And it's hot out there. You're in your
2017.
2017, okay. We're out there, we're hitting. It's like I said, for me, I was like, I like football, but I don't like it this much. And there are people listen, there were guys, he had guys that would run through the wall for him. Like, actually, if you drive back that area, his they dedicated the practice field when Mike Pettin practiced.
So they actually, USA Today did a story on it when he passed away. 16 undefeated seasons.
Mm-hmm.
And he met his son twice in the state championship game. Yes.
That's a lot of people say that's why he retired, because he didn't want to face him anymore. He didn't like.
I think is North Penn is the same is a stacked program as well.
So here's another fun fact for you. So CV West did not lose a game from when I was a sophomore in high school till 4 years after I graduated. Like, they went on a run of 6 years and didn't lose a game.
I mean,
we're talking like 45-7, 63-6. Like, just
it says he had 16 undefeated seasons in 33 years. Yeah. So basically half the time he was undefeated.
And it was like the offense for the most part up until my senior year was basically the same. Set, blue 50, ready, go. Hand it off to the left. Set, blue 50, ready, go to the right. Set, blue 50, ready, go up the middle. That was pretty much the offense. Then we had
you'd pull the guard and the tackle.
Yep. That was pretty much the offense.
And then you would have a lead blocking tight end, and that was the offense you ran in high school.
And occasionally, down the middle of the tight end, but nothing crazy. Until 98, when we had our quarterback, Corey Potter, was just you had to throw the ball because his arm was ridiculous. And then this other guy, Dennis Cliggett, who was, I guess you call him like a Brian Westbrook type, who looks like a wide receiver. But you had these weapons, and Coach Pettin started dialing up, going down the field, which was wild. But no way would he go for this.
Yeah, no. We basically had Lamar Jackson at quarterback.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I mean, he was just so fast, and he could throw the ball 70 yards, but he couldn't like find his receiver. So like
I
it
gotcha.
was like, hey, I'm launching the ball. I hope the receiver can catch up to it.
Yeah.
But that like if he just took off running, like just block for him. Just like that's basically what it was. So like sometimes we'd win a lot of games, or win a game big, but obviously you can lose a game big time if you can't throw the ball.
Right.
But we basically had Lamar Jackson, and he was the same grade as I was. So like every year that I was there, that's what we had.
Probably fun to watch.
It was because you got to remember this is Michael Vick in Atlanta time. So I'm thinking, at what I'm doing in Madden, we're going to be doing at practice.
Starship 7.
And the thing is, it was you got to remember I didn't play offense though, so it wasn't that fun for me all the time.
Right.
But
yeah.
It was fun like to witness like the other teams have to deal with, because at that point in time, we still had the typical drop back pass
Right.
to the to the flats, to the tight ends up the middle, handing it off. We were like the only one in the Philly league that had like a mobile quarterback. And then who was that guy that played for Houston, the Texans, that got his mashed on the field? Tom Savage, that was his name.
Okay.
He smoked us pretty good though when he was at O'Hara.
Gotcha.
So, but yeah, my point was I was
original
going to ask you that question though. From
Mike Patton would never but Mike Patton also, rest his soul, is a dinosaur. Like he's from that old school frame of mind. I understand the thinking behind it. I just look at it like
you have to callous up the body a little bit.
Right. That's been the conversation. But I can't logically see how you don't hit it all, and then all of a sudden week 1 you're ready to go. I don't know how that works. I don't know what that looks like.
I mean, yeah, maybe they'll get after it a little bit more when they do the joint practices. With I don't know who they're doing. Jets maybe.
I don't know what they're doing this year.
They do it. I think they have 2 this year actually. To be honest with you,
It's someone on their preseason schedule.
Yeah,
so it's usually that week 2 opponent.
Yeah.
So wherever that is, that's probably who they're joint practicing with.
Yeah. I think it's the Patriots.
Okay.
I know I could easily look it up. I just don't feel like it.
And that's really, to me, that's like, I don't know about you. I'm not paying attention to this. Hurts was good. Hurts was bad. Hurts was good. The first time I'll really kind of perk up for me is going to be that joint practice. I want to see how he performs there. That'll be something I'll pay attention to. And then, from then,
why I'm worried about it? I'll tell you why I disagree with that.
Okay.
If you look bad in shorts and t-shirts, why should I expect you to look good in pads?
So let's say he looks really, really good, has a really, really good day. Do you put stock in that, or only when he looks bad?
Only when he looks bad, because I expect you to look good in shorts.
Okay. Well, I mean, he had his best day in pads yesterday.
Yeah. Okay.
All reports.
Like you're wearing a red jersey.
Yeah.
You're QB1. They will tailor the training camp to make you look good. So I expect it to hear days, oh, he looked great today. That is what you're supposed to do. The days when it's like, oh, he didn't play good. Ike Reese had a great story earlier this week. He said he was talking about Andy Reid's training camps. Because the question was, what did Donovan have bad days in training camp? And he was like, honestly, not really. He's like, Donovan was a practice player. Like that was his thing. Like he would go out there, but he's like, there was one time where he's like, we're doing ones on ones. So obviously, very rarely do ones practice against ones in scrimmages, but right. They're doing one-on-ones, and he's like, we're eating the offense up. He's like, we're running a set of 15 plays. He's like, we picked Don off 3 times. He's like, Andy, stop practice. Made us go back into the locker room, come back out, stretch again, and go through the whole thing over again from the beginning. He's like, we were out there for 45 minutes before we did that. Didn't matter. Started practice over again. Same drills, same installments, all the way from the beginning. He's like, he came out. He's like, that sequence, Donovan went 13 for 15 down the field.
A tough love.
That's not happening now.
No, they're out there for 50 minutes, 55 minutes, listening to some Pop Smoke.
Well, did you hear Andy Reid had a 2.5 hour practice yesterday?
Yeah. Not here. Well, listen, I'm open to it because
Did you hear about tomorrow?
What's happening tomorrow?
They're going to be inside because it's going to be too hot.
Welcome to the new world.
Marcus, is going to be too hot.
Welcome to the new world.
I saw Devontae Adams in at Raiders training camp in full pads with a shirt, like long sleeves on, out in Henderson in the desert in 115 degrees, had a 2 hour and 15-minute practice. But it's too hot here.
If it works, it works, and we'll shut up. But if it doesn't work, you're gonna hear it, and it's really, really that simple. I like Sirianni.
I like him too. I don't dislike him. There's nothing to dislike about him.
Give him respect what he did last year. Getting that team the playoffs and changing mid season, that earned my respect.
But here's the problem. Okay. Who are the two biggest people that you think can hold this team back?
The quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
And
head coach. The head coach. They're the two people that are going to hold this team back. And they're the two people who need the most practice. And they're the two people who aren't getting it. Well, I mean, none of them are getting it, but they're the two that need it the most. I don't care if Jason Kelce isn't out there practicing for 2.5 hours. I don't care if Lane Johnson, Brandon Graham, Fletcher Cox do not care.
Right.
I don't even care if Miles Sanders, because I don't want my running backs getting banged up like that, taking meaningless hits. But not Jalen, because I don't trust him. Not the coach, because I don't trust him.
Yeah.
And I would not be surprised if this season, now I think that they're going to win. Well, we'll go through it. I think they're going to win double-digit games, in my opinion. We'll go through the schedule once we get closer. But if they don't, they're both should be on the bus out of here, because this is a Super Bowl ready-made roster that the coach and the quarterback are the question marks. When was the last time you had a team ready to roll? Well, I can tell you, it was the Broncos with Peyton Manning. Peyton Manning comes in, boom, Super Bowl, right out of the gate. If this team had, imagine Joe Burrow on this team.
Right.
We're talking, are they going to have home field advantage to the playoffs?
Right.
Let's not even go. Let's put Dak on this team. Not even a joke. Let's put Dak on this team. We're talking 12 wins, 13 wins.
It's funny you just brought him up. I'm not going to do too much. I'm getting really excited to talk about football, so I don't want to blow the entire gasket. But I will say this. I think the Cowboys are going to take a significant step backwards this year. And I think the top two teams in this division will be your Philadelphia Eagles and the Washington Commanders.
I
think the Cowboys come in third in this division.
I still think it's Cowboys going to be 2, but I think Washington, well, preface it by saying if Wentz plays well. That's the key preface. You got to preface it by if
he will.
And I think he will too.
I think he has the skill players that fit his skill set.
You have Dotson,
McLaurin,
and Samuel.
Mm-hmm.
Don't know who their tight end is.
Man, it's gonna drive me crazy. I don't remember his name either.
But they got Antonio.
He's above average.
They got Antonio Gibson at running back.
Mm-hmm.
Decent offensive line. Mm-hmm. Serviceable offensive line. Good enough offensive line. If he can figure it out, I think it could be very lucrative to bet on the Commanders this year.
And a really good defense, too.
Yes, but it all depends on when Chase Young's going to come back, because Rivera said that he's not going to be ready for week 1. So it all depends on when he returns. That they're going to be good, but they can be great when he comes back.
Right. Well, I look at Dallas and I look at that offense. Like they've had, like you look at the past couple years of the Cowboys, they've had. You look at their skill positions.
Mm-hmm.
They had some of the best skill positions in the league,
Mm-hmm.
and that's not there anymore.
No.
He's really going to miss Amari Cooper.
Offensive, like when Dak and Zeke were their rookie year, they had it's not as good as the the Emmett O lines was,
Noskis, Nate Newton,
but they had a
Okay.
stacked offensive line with
Right.
who's their tackle? I can't remember his name right now. Tyron Smith, the center who retired. I can't remember his.
I know what you're talking about.
And Zach Martin,
Yeah.
anchor in the offensive line.
Mhm.
That's gone. They only have Martin, and Tyron Smith is a shell of himself.
Right.
Lyle Collins is gone as well.
Right.
Uh,
So Cooper's out of there.
Cooper's gone.
Gallup's not going to be starting the season.
No, and didn't they just lose a guy? Washington, I think his name was.
Yep. He got hurt. So Dak,
Zeke is every year that passes, he ages 5 years.
This team was mediocre with those skill level positions. They're pretty much mediocre. So I think this year they take a significant step backwards. I think big enough a step backwards where Washington can slide into. I think the Eagles win the division.
I do too.
Out there now. But I think the Commanders will be the Eagles' biggest competition for the division, not the Cowboys.
I disagree. With who's going to be the closer competition. I still think the Eagles win the division, though. They're my pick to win the division. Right now, you can go and find them at 2-1 odds to win the division. So you can make some pennies off of that if you want. Make a pretty penny off of that. You can also get them at even money to win 10 games.
Yeah, I think 10-11 is where I have them at, but we'll definitely
we'll go through the schedule. Now, if we were basing it off of last year, okay?
I am at 16.
I was about to say, what do you have them at this year if we were using that?
Yeah.
15-2?
15-2.
15-2? Okay, that's what, yeah.
All right, so we went through the baseball, the football, the basketball. Now it's time to go through the Saul.
Oh, Marcus, it happened.
It happened.
And
so I want to ask you a question.
Hold on. This isn't going to be the last time we see them.
Yeah, I don't think so. Because
if you remember the screenshots that they put out at the beginning of the season,
in the car,
there was in the car. We haven't seen that scene yet.
Yes. So, my question. Well, now also too, we know the timeline.
Yeah, they're overlapping now.
So I have two questions for you. First question is, how fast in that intro do you know what was going on? Were you like, oh, I know?
I mean, like when they when he was in the
when he was in the RV. How fast did you pick up on that?
Instantly.
Yeah, I as soon as I saw him hit the ground.
Yeah.
Like, oh, here we go.
And I like how they reshot the scene instead of recycling the old scene.
Yes, I agree.
I mean, obviously, they just redid it, but
right.
I appreciate them reshooting the scene,
right,
instead of just recycling the old one.
Right. My second question is: after watching this episode,
mm-hmm.
how much do you blame Saul Goodman for the downfall of this whole thing? Well, let me ask you another question before you answer that question.
Okay.
Before this episode, did you at all blame Saul Goodman for the downfall of everything?
Not really.
Okay. So after watching this episode, how much do you blame him for the downfall of everything?
Minimal.
See, I go,
but
okay.
I feel like ask me after next week, I could have a different answer.
Yeah, I blame him, and that's now you're seeing why we're seeing like all the stuff going on with him after the Gene stuff, because he can't help himself.
Well, you got your Skylar answer.
Yep. This is a man that can't help himself. He literally can't help himself. So you're seeing that, but then you go back to the timeline now. It's like Mike told you, bro, this guy, okay, he's making that meth, but I don't think we should line with this guy. I don't think it's going to work out. I don't think so. I don't think it's it.
Well, I have a couple questions too.
Saul ignored him.
I have a couple questions too. First, how did he know I mean, I guess it's just assumed, but how did he know that, like, what the blue stuff was?
So it was, remember, the first, I don't think we get Saul Goodman until season 3.
Yes.
Okay. So the second season, the blue stuff, the first 2 seasons, the blue stuff's established. He
Yes.
worked for Tuco. He
But
had to deal with him. It's on the street
yes. But like, how does Saul know about the blue stuff?
because he's working with all these people.
Oh, he just
He's just at this point, he's in that circle. Here's one thing. Here's one thing I don't like. I'll say this now. Now I'm talking about that. I don't like the fact that we never really got that moment that showed Saul being solidified with Gus.
It's just he's
yeah.
in.
Like I wanted to see that. Like, I thought that was an important.
Maybe we'll get it. Maybe we'll get it.
Maybe, but like, isn't it out of order now at this point? Like, if they go to that,
I feel like when they put that flashback episode in, they messed up the whole order already. I feel like now they're just tying everything together.
Yeah, so we got 2 left.
Mm-hmm.
The Kim Wexler answer, we got that too. What she's doing.
Oh yeah, what's she doing again?
She's down in Florida working for some company.
Yeah,
he called down there.
Obviously,
that didn't go well.
Yeah, obviously that didn't go well.
It didn't look like that went well at all. Now I don't know what to make of that. Was he on the phone with her yelling, or how? Like, I wonder if she was just like, leave me alone. That like, because that's another thing I don't like too. I don't like the direction they took her, because like, she's not her. Your hands aren't clean this either. You were just a part of the Slip and Jimmy act as he was, and now what? He went too far for you. Like I don't know.
You were going to smoke Gus,
right?
Like you were going to smoke Gus. Like if Mike's not there and it's just Gus, you were about to smoke Gus. Now I can't imagine Gus would have allowed that to occur.
Yeah.
But like, you were prepared to do that.
It was going to happen, yeah. So yeah, I don't like necessarily what they've done with Kim, at all. I'm with you. I love that episode. Obviously, it was great seeing Walter and Jesse and the banter between those two again, and also like a lighter Jesse. Even though, if I'm nitpicking, I think Aaron Paul played him much more like season 5 Jesse than season 3 Jesse.
Yes.
Jesse at this point was still pretty lighthearted and like whatever. He didn't play him like that. He was very serious in an RV. That's not what we should have saw at that point. At that point, Jesse was like, he was an idiot. He was a goofball.
I mean, obviously, we can't do anything about like time passing.
Right, yeah.
But man, Jesse looks
he looked wild. Yeah, and I brought that up to Amber. I was like, yeah, it was.
No, I mean, like, he's like what? Like the act, like Aaron Paul. He's got to be in his mid-20s when he filmed that character.
He was
late. He's in his
40s. 42.
So he had, what is he? Maybe like late 20s then.
Right. And see, you look at Walt. He looks basically the same. He's already went through that process.
Yes.
So like him at 50 and him at 60 is
not that big of a difference.
But with him, he's aged significantly from 28 to now.
42. Yeah.
Yeah, whatever. That's okay.
Yeah, it's just when I was watching, I was like, whoa.
Yeah, no, I had the same reaction when I first saw him, but they can't really do much about that. No. But I wish he played him more like season 3 Jesse, like he should have been season 5 Jesse.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was awesome. It was great seeing him again. I'm excited to see.
I need some more Don Hector before we get out of here, though.
Yeah, definitely. What's like Gene's going to jail.
I was about to say, hold up, wait, that was a cliffhanger of cliffhangers.
Oh, the police sirens.
Yeah,
he's going to jail. Come on, why did he? But he's just, but like you can't feel bad for him anymore.
Well, the thing is, what if he didn't though?
Just go work at the Cinnabon and go home.
But the thing is, remember, he's broke now.
Right.
That's why he's doing it.
Well, you know what? Like you're not in prison for the rest of your life. Like, take that as the victory. Like, what would you expect that, like, you know, Walt set himself a lot better than obviously Saul did, but also Walt was living a very different life than Saul was living. Like, Saul was being gaudy. We got the gold toilet. We got the shower head that talks. We got his hooker habit. Like, he's
No,
spending.
no, but the thing is that no, that's not why he's broke though. Remember on the phone, she's like, the Fed seized everything.
Yeah, all the shops and stuff.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, but I mean,
so like he had his plan set up. It's just he.
Yeah, but Walt was smarter. Walt had a better plan, even though he lost his money to the Nazis. He ends up getting. I think he ends up getting. Jesse finds the rest of it, whatever. But like, he has money. He set up money for his kids. They're good forever.
Well, he goes to like his ex partner or whatever at Gray Matter or whatever,
Right.
Black Matter or whatever it's called, or and he has that whole scene at their house and everything.
Right. With Ledger.
Yeah.
That's why I've always felt bad for Walt, is that I've always looked at Walt as the underdog story, because the Gray Matter situation where he lost out on all that money. He's this guy like living his life he never wanted to live, and he just wanted to feel alive. And he went too, like, listen, obviously we know he went too far. He got in over his head. That's half the crime. You get in over your head.
So,
but Saul is not the same to me. Saul's a bad seed. He's a
yeah.
person. He's a really bad person, and you can't put it any other way if he's a bad person.
I still want him to be my lawyer, though.
Of course. Oh, of course. Yeah, 1,000%. You want him to be your lawyer, but like he's not a good dude, and like whatever happens to him, I will be content. I was always rooting for Walt to somehow make it out, somehow beat it. I don't care about Saul. You can die. I'm cool whoever.
Yeah, I mean,
whatever happens to you.
Skylar, she got the deal.
Yep.
Thanks
to Walt.
Yes.
I mean, Walt exonerated her, so she deserved the deal.
Where's Jesse at though?
Jesse's still Jesse. This is before. So this is before.
No.
El Camino.
No, it's after. Because if you remember, who was it? His friend drove his Camaro.
Yeah. Oh, right. She
said he drove it to the border for him.
Yeah.
And gave him. So they think he's in Mexico. Oh, isn't he in Alaska or something?
Yes, he finally did that thing.
The vacuum man.
The vacuum man.
He's in Alaska, I think.
Yeah. That was one of the good scenes when he kept going there, and the guy wouldn't let him in.
Yeah.
So yeah, he did the vacuum man. He's in Alaska.
Okay, so he's in Alaska, but they think he's in Mexico.
Yes, he had him drive the car there.
Yeah, they drove the car there. Yeah.
Yeah, but he's set though. He has his money.
Oh, yeah, he's got it on him.
He found all that money in that fridge. So he's good to go.
Yeah. Yeah, everything's getting tied up.
Everything's getting tied up. We need some Gus though. I'm hoping to see Gus again in next episode.
Yeah. I need some Gus. I need the whole Salamancas, all that. I need all that one more time.
Yeah, we need to do that, and I would like to see Gus's death through Saul's perspective. That would be nice. We got a lot to do. We got 3 hours left.
How are we going to see Gus's death through his eyes?
Like Saul hearing about it. So Saul kind of orchestrated it. Like he's part of the plan. Like, because he ends up becoming like terrified of Walt and aligns with Walt, and they kind of come up with the whole plan to kill Gus.
Yeah, but we're already like that timeline is so far ahead. When are we going to we won't get a chance to see that.
So Gus dies at the end of season 4.
Yes.
That's when they're at the barbecue and Walt thinks everything's all good.
Yep.
No, the barbecue. Yeah. Well, he does it. He has a scene where he calls Skylar, said the day or whatever. They have that barbecue, and when Hank discovers who he is.
Yes.
And season 5 starts. So, yeah, we do have. So we're in season 3 of Breaking Bad right now.
Yeah. Yeah.
But we got to get to the end because, so they got a lot to do.
That's what I'm saying.
I'm not going to ask them how they're going to do it. They got a lot of things to do.
They got 180 minutes to do it.
Exactly. All right. Well, I got nothing left.
No, we'll be back here same time next week.
That's right. At Marques be tweeting everywhere.
At Justin Emery Show on social media.
Brad Emery Pod everywhere. BradEmery.com for the merch. Vans Jewelers, 332 York Road, Heart of Hatboro. Go check them out. Get that bling.
Bling, 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 bling.
Exactly. And until next time, you can be with us, you be against us, but never going to stop us. Late.